Lesson 3. Risk and Reward. Part 1. Expected Payoff. Believe it or not, there's an investment approach known as the cigar butt school of investing. The concept is akin to metaphorically finding a cigar discarded on the street that still has a few puffs remaining. Essentially, you're getting something of value for free. While the analogy may not be the most appealing, the term itself is quite descriptive. In the financial world, cigar butts refer to companies that are currently out of favor, often due to bleak prospects. These companies are typically undervalued by the market, priced much lower than what might be considered fair value for their underlying business. Such low valuations can offer opportunities for potentially low-risk and high-reward investments, as they allow investors to purchase assets at a significant discount. Let me share a fascinating story about one of the most famous successes in cigar butt investing. This story revolves around Eddie Lampert, a renowned money manager who made a fortune by investing in two of America's most troubled retailers, Sears Roebuck and Kmart. Despite their poor performance, Lampert's investments turned him into a multi-billionaire. You might wonder how it's possible to achieve such financial success by investing in failing companies. This seems contrary to the fundamental principles of investing, which typically focus on strong, well-performing companies. However, Lampert's strategy involved leveraging an exceptionally favorable risk-reward ratio. By recognizing the underlying value ignored by others, he saw an opportunity for substantial returns. Sears Roebuck was a household name and a powerhouse in retail for much of the 20th century. Many of you are likely familiar with Kmart, which alongside Walmart pioneered the discount department store model. During the 1970s and 1980s, Kmart experienced its heyday, becoming the second largest retailer in the United States. By the time Eddie Lampert became involved, both Sears Roebuck and Kmart were mere shadows of their once dominant selves. Sears was heading towards extinction like the dinosaurs, and Kmart was close behind. Years of mismanagement, coupled with fierce competition from more efficient retailers like Walmart and Target, as well as the rise of online shopping, had severely impacted both companies. Kmart filed for bankruptcy in 2002. During the reorganization and emergence from bankruptcy, Eddie Lampert saw an opportunity and made a significant investment in the company. In 2004, he merged Kmart with Sears, forming a new entity called Sears Holdings. At the time of the merger, Sears and Kmart were considered some of the least successful department stores in the country. Under Lampert's management, Sears Holdings did not show any improvement. 14 years after his initial investment, Sears Holdings declared bankruptcy once again in 2018. Clearly, this does not seem like a wise investment. How did Sears and Kmart contribute to making Lampert a multi-billionaire? Well, here's a hint. A significant part of their value lay in the extensive real estate holdings where their stores were located. Additionally, they benefited from owning thousands of stores across the country. Investors were deterred by the ongoing negative trends at both companies, seeing little potential for recovery in their retail operations. They overlooked the significant value of the real estate assets. Lampert, however, was keenly aware of these assets' worth. His investment in the companies extended beyond the department store business. He effectively acquired billions of dollars worth of prime real estate at a fraction of its market value. Lampert rapidly closed stores and liquidated their properties. He then secured billions in cash dividends from the proceeds of these real estate sales before the company faced its second bankruptcy. Remarkably, today there are only 20 Kmart and 30 Sears stores remaining in the U.S. In contrast, at its peak, Sears Holdings, which encompassed both Sears and Kmart, operated more than 3,500 stores. From a strategic standpoint, Lampert's approach to managing Sears Holdings was exceptionally astute. In retrospect, the ease of the strategy could be likened to someone betting you $100,000 that you couldn't touch your own nose. The financial risk was low due to the substantial value of the company's real estate holdings, which far exceeded its stock market valuation, thereby offering a high potential return. Furthermore, the poor performance of the stores did not diminish the value of the real estate on which they were situated. Commercial real estate, as an asset, can be valued relatively easily due to the abundance of comparable transactions available for reference across various store locations. Even if Lampert's valuation of the real estate was overly optimistic, the low purchase price for the company created a significant safety margin in his investment. Should his real estate assessments have proven incorrect, the potential financial loss from his investment would still remain low.